Okay, good evening to all staff members. We will give it a few minutes, maybe about 3-4 minutes, so that everybody in the staff can really join in. Naren and Manoshi, if you could, and also all the staff, if you could bear with me, just to give a few minutes more so that everybody can join in.
Sure thing.
So if you have any colleagues of yours, please do IM them and tell, instant message them and tell them to join the staff meeting. And please, once you join the staff meeting, type in your names on the question and answer section or the bubble. Just press in the bubble and then type in your name so that you would mark your presence as well. And HR would know that you are really here with us joining. Again, we'll give it a few minutes. So please bear with us. All staff who are here at the moment, please bear with us. We are giving it a few minutes more so that all the staff can join in. And please IM all your colleagues and do tell them to join in for the staff meeting because we are about to start. And once you join in, please do IM your name so that HR will know that you're here and you are participating at the staff meeting. And again, I must remind all of you, you can ask questions from Naren. And Naren is here. He will answer all your questions at the end of the program. Once Manoshi and Naren has finished their program, they will answer your questions. So please do type in any questions you want. Manoshi, we have about 76 members, staff members. Do you still want to wait till it goes up a little more?
Naren, what do you think? Should we start the broadcast?
Yeah, let's start, and then I guess I'm sure they'll join in, and then you're recording it as well, right? So
yes, yeah. Let's go ahead.
So good evening to all staff members. Welcome to our staff meeting. And as you know, we have Naren, CEO of Equa Marketing, and Manoshi Gamage, HR manager for the group. Hi, Naren and Manoshi. Hi and welcome.
Hi, Tilini.
Naren, yes, Naren.
Hi, Tilini. How are you? And thank you for the opportunity today. And I'm really looking forward to this meeting because I know we haven't talked to the team in a long time. So I'm really looking forward to it. And if you have any questions, please post them and we'll get to them at the end.
Yes. Yeah, let me remind that again. So if you have any questions, just put them on your question and answer bubble, and Naren will get at all of your questions at the end of the program. Or if he cannot answer your questions at this program, he will definitely send you a mail for it. So Naren, if we start with now, I know Naren, most of our staff have not met you personally and know little about you and the company history. Could you please tell us a little about yourself and how you started working from home and got into going with this company?
Yes, absolutely, Tilini. And I think that's a great question to start with, so people kind of know where I'm coming from. My full name is Naren Aruraja. I was born in Colombo. I went to school at Royal and Wesley, and I was in Sri Lanka till I was 18. Um, when I turned 18, I went to the States to do my studies in computer science. And I quickly, grew in the ranks. I got promoted and so forth. But from the time I was 23 to 27, I ended up getting fired 4 times in a row. So after the fourth time, I decided to, not to work for somebody. Really, I'm one of those people. If I feel like there's a better way to do something, I will always speak up. And what I realized is that in corporate America, at least in the U.S., once you're in middle management, you have to learn how to play politics, and you need to kind of watch what you're saying and all those things. And I'm one of those people. I didn't believe in that, so it never worked out. But after getting fired for the fourth time, I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I was married at the time, and we had one daughter who was just 2 months old. So I'm like, I can't do this because I think if it happens to me again, I will kind of lose confidence in myself. So that's really how it started. This was back in 2001, and I dabbled in some businesses and learned a bit. And in 2004 time frame, ended up buying a website called Busy Moms, and it was a 1,000 visitor website out of the US. A lady was running it. It was more like a chat room for moms who wanted to work from home. So they would have a few, kind of articles and a very, very, very small site. So some of the people who are still here, were there even in that day. Like Susan was there, and Pradeep joined early, and Ryan joined early, and there was a few others, who joined kind of at that time. So Busy Moms slowly but surely grew, and the company grew as well. And to be honest, you have to keep in mind, none of us knew how to build a successful business because we have never really done this before, especially an online business, leave alone any type of business. So we made a lot of mistakes. We failed a lot. So between 2004 to 2008, 2009, it was kind of hand-to-mouth survival in the sense, we were not sure if you have enough money to make the payroll next month. And in those days, like most people getting into business, we tried everything and anything under the sun. And one of the things we would do is we would set up a goal and set up some targets and go after it, and it wouldn't work. And then we would try something else and go after it, and it wouldn't work. And that cycle kept continuing. But somehow we were managing, and we were, we had, I think, around 30, 40 staff at that time in 2008. But we are slowly pivoting into an advertising model where it went from small ads to sponsorship ads. So somebody would sponsor an entire section. But in end of 2008, all of a sudden, the entire ad market dried up because one day I was talking to a bank, the VP of marketing, and 1 week later she was gone, and then the next week the CEO was gone. And the following week, the president, the bank itself is gone because there was such a huge, issue that happened in 2008, where so many sectors, starting with the banking sector, which is at the heart of everything else, collapsed. So, so we weren't able to make money through ads. So we were trying to convince a dentist who to advertise on Busy Moms for $199 a month. And after talking to us and talking to me and understanding what we do and understanding how we get traffic, he said, "Why don't you help me? Why don't you help me, dominate Chicago? Because if you can compete with national players and you are able to drive a lot of traffic to Busy Moms, then you should be able to help me compete in Chicago and drive a lot of traffic, against the 10,000 dentists that's there. So that's kind of the beginning of Equa as we know it today. This is back in 2008. Can you hear me, Tilini?
Sorry, Naren, I had muted my mic. I'm very sorry about that. Can you hear me, Naren?
Yes, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. Naren, you started with Busy Moms, and now we have Equa Marketing and Entrepreneur.MD, and a few new ventures. Could you, how did you really get here? If you could, give us a few.
Absolutely. So I believe, so after failing a lot in the first 5 years from 2004 to 2008, we learned some fundamental lessons, I think, that kind of changed our history and changed our course and made us a much more reliable business. In 2008, like I said, we would have all kinds of goals and targets. So it was really focused on us, what we wanted. We wanted revenues, we wanted this, we wanted that, right? So it was very much focused on doing things that were very numbers driven. But we realized, and maybe it was accident, maybe it's just, I guess, what they call karma, or meant to be, I guess, where I used to read books of people who built great businesses. I've read probably 50 books from Steve Jobs to Henry Ford to the guy who started Starbucks. So one of the interesting things that kind of stood out to me in all of these things I was reading and kind of I was very fascinated by is that, number one, all of them saw the world slightly differently. They didn't want to do something a little bit different from everybody else. They wanted to do something significantly different, right? So they totally had a vision. That's number one. And also they believed in their vision from their hearts. This was not just a quick way to make a buck. They really, really believed that what they were going to do is going to change the world. So we felt, one of the reasons we were struggling with Busy Moms is because we never really, really had a significant vision. And the second thing that I stumbled upon is a quote by Dale Carnegie, and it's about, it's on our website, and I'll show it to you real quick. If you go to our website, so this is the quote: "The world is full of people who are grabbing and self-seeking. So the rare individual who unselfishly tries to serve others has an enormous advantage. He has little competition." Let me repeat this again. The world is full of people who are grabbing and self-seeking. So what he's saying is that the world is full of people. He said this 50, 60 years ago. It's full of people who are grabbing and self-seeking. So that means he's saying it's world is full of people who want something from me today, right? It's all about me, my goals, my numbers, my this, my that. In that world, the rare individual who unselfishly tries to serve others. In that world, the person who's dedicated to serving others, so it could be your clients, it could be anything, but you're dedicated to serving others, has an enormous advantage. I mean, he uses the word enormous, right? So huge advantage, and he says he has little competition, right? And that's very true. So instead of focusing on what Equa wanted, how big Equa wanted to become, and how many clients we should have, and all those things, we started focusing on what our clients wanted. So what did our clients want? They realized internet marketing was great, but they didn't know how to use internet marketing to grow their business. So they wanted us to help. They wanted us to use internet marketing to grow their business. So really, really, that's what they wanted. The beautiful thing about marketing is if you do it right, it's one of those things that they can feel it. They can see that their patient numbers are growing. They can feel that their business is doing well. So so we started focusing on our clients instead of focusing on us. And the two key points that we zoomed in on was the idea of service and the idea of excellence, because we realized those two ideas will never change. Even when you're a 3-person team working on Equa versus now more than 120 people, 130 people out of 150 are working on Equa, we still can be better at service. We still can be better at improving ourselves by going after excellence. So those became the fundamental cornerstones of Equa and what drove us. Also, we went around the company and asked people about some of the core values, the things that we felt would never change regardless of what happens. And so there were some people who were already there for like 3, 4, 5 years. So we asked all of them, what do you think are the things that will never change? And obviously they all were working with us from home, so they understood our experience. They kind of understood us. So Susan and Kazmina and Ryan and I think there's a few others at the time who we asked, and we really try to understand our values. Let me 1 second. I just wanted to look at something. So I think you asked the question, Tilini. So where is Equa today, and how did we get here? So to answer your question, I think we got here because we started focusing on our clients, and we started doing right by them, helping them grow their business with world-class internet marketing. Obviously, Google is very powerful today. Facebook probably was just getting started back in 2008. I mean, it was pretty new. So a lot of things have changed between 2008 and today. However, we are stronger than ever, and we are true to our mission than ever, right? So that hasn't changed. So in terms of Equa today, we have around 200 clients, and we have one of the things we are kind of proud of is the fact that unlike other companies, almost everybody else, we tend to keep our clients. So one of the things we really focus on is whether 90% of our clients stay with us year after year after year. And so far, we've done a pretty decent job all the way going back to 2008. Obviously, we have had our hiccups and ups and downs once in a while, but our focus on keeping our clients happy and therefore keeping them for life hasn't changed.
Okay. Now I know, Naren, that no company actually grows, and Busy Mom and Eco Marketing they are growing companies, and you really cannot grow a company without values and goals and focus, good service, as you have been saying, and of course discipline from the staff, and then you have discipline as well. What did we really learn along the way? And if you could elaborate more a little on the company values, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I think that's a very good question to ask, because I think every single person in this company, we probably hired them because they have many of these values we are talking about. And every single person, including myself, we have to remind ourselves of these values. So I believe slowly but surely the HR team is starting to work with the entire company on a one-on-one basis to really discuss these values and then figure out how can this apply in each person's roles. Because values are things that will never change. For example, our first value, if you look at this page, and you can bookmark it, if you go to equa.com and click on our philosophy and scroll down, you will see Equa Marketing Core Values. Our first value is what we call stick to itness. This is the heart of everything we are. And I think, like I said earlier in my comments, the people who change the world, whether it's Gandhi or whether it's Steve Jobs or Bill Gates, they all stuck with things. As you know, Steve Jobs failed and failed and failed, in his early days. Especially, he was even fired from the company he started, and then he came back and he changed the world. So they never gave up. They never, wavered in their belief that they can change the world and they can do something amazing based on their vision. So I think stick to itness is key. So I mean, it's not what happens to you, it's rather your reaction to it. And most people, most encourage people when they're thrown into a problem or challenge. They give up and they run. But the people who succeed, the people who make a difference for themselves and everybody around them, they don't do that. They stick with things. They don't give up. It doesn't mean they don't listen, and doesn't mean that they don't pay attention to reality. But when they really have taken the time to think something through and commit to something, they stick with it. So that's our first value, and maybe I can have Manoshi comment on our second value, which is express desire to learn, improve, and grow as individuals and team contributors.
Yes, Naren. Actually, in my interpretation of this value is basically the ambition or the drive you have to make things better. Now, one thing, sometimes maybe we are given opportunities, but sometimes we don't take it because we are scared of risk. Right now, something similar happened to me. When I started off at Echo, I started off as a member in the client services team. And then later on, Naren gave me the opportunity to get into HR. Now, if I had been scared and not taken that risk, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. So I took that opportunity. I increased my knowledge, improved my knowledge, and now I'm here doing HR. So I'm pretty successful at it, and I'm very happy that I took the opportunity. So one thing I really need to focus, I think, is we want risk takers, not people who won't take up on opportunities. We want people to take risks, be open to learning new things, because only if you learn new things you will improve yourself. So that's the sort of people we want, Naren.
Absolutely, and to piggyback on what Manoshi said, see, the world changes. I mean, that's the only thing that's absolutely constant. It'll always keep changing. And people who haven't been doing a certain job, like Manoshi never did HR before, right? Obviously, she had taken classes and so forth, but she never really worked for another company in HR. People who haven't done something before tend to bring a fresh perspective. Because remember, they don't know how you're supposed to do it. They don't know that phones are supposed to have buttons. Because you know what? They didn't create that phone with the buttons, so they have an open mind. So when they come into the picture, they'll say, oh, you know what? Maybe we don't need buttons. Maybe we can just have just a plain piece of glass where people can touch on the glass. So a lot of times, putting fresh people who have never done that before really works wonders, because they start, like for example, we are not a traditional company. We are a work from home company, totally different. Nobody else has done this before in the world, right? Not in our scale and not in our seriousness. I mean, they hire people for transcriptions and things like that, but they don't run an entire business where everybody works from home, especially a knowledge business where things are changing so fast. So absolutely, the desire to learn, desire to improve, taking risks is at the heart of it. It's not just good for you as an individual, it's also good for the company, because you bring a fresh perspective. You think of things that that nobody thought of before, because you're not encumbered by preconceived notions. The next value kind of goes with that: daily commitment to embrace and drive change. When I deal with the key leaders I work with, usually we know where we want to end up at the end of the year. However, we spend most of our time discussing, what do we need to change, what's working, what's not, and the reason for that is, if we sat still, if we were the same company we were 3 years ago, we'll be dead, especially in our space, and I think in any business. So you have to constantly keep thinking about how do we take things to the next level. How do you, embrace and drive change? How will this apply to you, for example? Let's say you are in link building team and, you are in charge of working on certain clients. Look for look for what you're doing and the correlation of that to results. Take some time to, Google and see how the clients are ranking or not ranking. Do some research and learn about what the experts are saying, like Matt Cutts from Google and other people. Constantly keep learning, so you don't have to wait for somebody to tell you do this or do that. And once you learn something, and even if it goes against what our processes say and what our management says, speak up and say, hey, I found this new technique or new method. Why don't you try it? This is what I did. This is the results. So you're not just telling them an idea. You actually have even done some testing of that idea, and then go to them with the proof. You don't need to test 3,000 things. You can just test 1 or 2 things to see if what your idea is originally working. And those are the people, I really appreciate, because I really think those are the people who are going to take the company to the next level. So if you have ideas like that, speak up to Manoshi, to your managers, to me. And that's why, once a year or so, we do a survey asking people, what can we change? What can we do better? So don't just throw ideas for the sake of throwing ideas, think it through, even test it, and then come back with your findings. The more you've done your research, the more you have thought it through, the better off you will be. And I'll tell you another story. The person I'm sure most of you have heard of, who used to be a legendary CEO by the name of Jack Welch, he ran GE. He studied chemical engineering. He never went to business school, but he became one of the best CEOs the world has ever seen. And when he was young, I think he was in charge of some small product, and in chemical engineering for GE, a small plant somewhere. And they would ask him to ask him a simple question, but he would do a lot more research. He would look at the competition, explain how they are better or worse than the competition, and even make recommendations of what they need to do to beat the competition. So he took things further down. And when his managers start seeing this, they started promoting him. They're like, this is what we look for in leaders. We want leaders who use their brains, who think. So they started promoting him. They started giving him opportunities, and little by little, over a period of 20 years, he became the CEO of GE. And then from there, he, ended up making GE 20 times bigger than what it was over the next 20 years. Manoshi, why don't you talk about dedication to service to our clients and to our fellow team members? I know we touched on it because it's at the heart of our philosophy. Any examples or any stories you would like to share?
Actually, Naren, I'd like to tell you what it means to me, because since I work in HR, I think what this means is no matter who your client is, whether it's an external party or a fellow team member, you need to work with minimal ego. Because if you don't build cordial relationships with our staff, with your colleagues, then you're not going to get their support, because they are not going to want to deal with you, and therefore, there's a breakdown in the work as well. So then staff will be demotivated. So all of these things happen when we don't have cordial relationships with our staff, and when we have attitude. So I think it's really important that people work with minimal ego, because the more ego you have, the less support you're going to get at Equa. So being a person in HR, I think it's really key that everybody understands that even if you're a manager or another staff member, that you really need to work with minimum ego to be successful here.
Absolutely. And the next one is willingness to do the right thing and speak the truth even when it is unpleasant. I like to call it brutal honesty. See, at the end of the day, when we have a bad idea, the market will always tell us, and some companies that don't listen go out of business. So whether we tell each other that something is bad, or whether we wait for the market to tell us, the bad ideas are not always going to tell us they are bad ideas, right? So when you see something we are doing that doesn't make sense, or that's not going anywhere, speak up. It's important to you, and it's important to the company. So don't be afraid. And I've said this to Manoshi and everybody else in senior management. We will never ever punish or fire somebody for speaking up. We may not agree with you, fine, but we will listen to you. Because at the end of the day, nobody has a monopoly on ideas. I'm not smarter than you, and you're not. I mean, Manoshi is not smarter than me or me, you. We are all pretty smart. That's why we are here, right? So we all can come up with amazing ideas, amazing thoughts. When you see something we are doing that's not going anywhere, then speak up. Open your mouth and say, this is stupid. We shouldn't be doing this. And obviously, if possible, try to come up with an alternative. I know some people just talk for the sake of talking without really providing solutions. So, that I think can irritate people. So when you do speak up, think about how do we do it differently? How can we do it better? So that's an important value. The next value is respect and support for each other, being a strong partner in an interdependent environment. Manoshi?
Naren, I'd like to add one more part to the value which you just explained. I do agree with you, but I also think that it's important to be tactful. because we are dealing with people and their feelings, right? So if you want your idea to be heard, and if you want to have cordial relationships, yes, you need to be painfully honest, but I think you also need to be a bit tactful about it. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so about the next value, Naren, in simple terms, I think it's being a strong team player, right? Because we need to understand we don't work independently in the company, right? I mean, we need the support of others, and we need to be strong team players. So if we are not strong team players, then it's hard to sort of work in the company. One other thing is, you need to respect others. If you don't respect others, you can't expect others to respect you either, right? So definitely you won't go places in echo. I'm not talking about politics here, but like you need to respect each other, so that you can have the support of other people to do your work properly, so you can really make a difference in the company. And also, if anybody is being disrespected in the company, please come to me. HR, as a person in HR, we can give you solutions, because I think everybody deserves to be respected. So if there's anything wrong happening in the company, please do come to us. We are willing to help you.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we encourage HR to have a direct relationship with every single person. So, the team as well as Manoshi. So, go to them, because this way, if you feel uncomfortable or whatnot, you can always ask them to help you, and they will always sort things out. Because we believe that a person who's happy tends to be more valuable to the company than a person who's not. So, if you're not happy for whatever reason, speak up, explain why, right? We may not be able to solve all your problems today, but we will really, really try our best, and we will really try to, come up with the best way to solve it. Taking 100% ownership, caring about the why as well as the how of every task. Never settling to merely do. Always striving to accomplish a task better than the time before. See, when somebody understands the why, they tend to do a better job, because it's not a task anymore. They are contributing to success, or they're contributing to a vision, right? For example, once you understand that the work you do, let's say in quality assurance, makes a big difference in terms of the quality of our website, which then improves our brand, as well as makes a big difference for the clients, because now we did everything properly, and therefore the sites are getting more conversions, sites are getting more traffic. You tend to do a better job. So always try to understand, how is what I'm doing making a difference? And this also helps you, speak up when what you're doing is not making a difference, or when what you're doing could make bigger difference, because there's something else we are not doing that we perhaps should do. I mean, like I said before, nobody has a monopoly on ideas, so everybody can be as successful and as smart as some of our leaders. And the only way you're going to get there is by caring about what you're doing and really understanding the why and doing a great job, and then thinking about how do we improve it. The next value is commitment to standard ways of doing things and continually improving those standards. As the company grows, we need standards, right? I mean, when you have 3 clients, we needed a team of 2 or 3 people, and pretty much you know everything about those clients. But when we grow and grow, we grew both in terms of number of clients, and also internet marketing itself became very complex. We currently do many, many things for our clients, and let me just give you a quick link to that page. So currently, we do around 35 things for our clients. It's all in this page. So when we have such a complex operation, it's very important that there are different teams responsible for different things, and each team is trying to improve how it does things, right? So we need standards. We need a standard way of doing it. So this way, a client, let's say, design standards are important to us, because we don't want to use different fonts and different pages and so forth. So the only way we can enforce this is by having design standards and making sure our designers are following it, our webmasters are following it. Why do we need to do that? For example, I'll tell you a true story. We actually, in one of the early days when we were running the business, one of our clients, he still is a client with us, he's one of our best clients, hired a consultant to go and look at his site. And the consultant came back and pointed out pretty embarrassing things. He said, oh, you know what? you guys don't know how to use fonts. You're using different fonts in different pages. Sometimes the title is black, sometimes it's red. So I feel like this is done by some unprofessional people, right? So, they had to only say that to us once. So we realized the importance of design standards. So now every site has its own set of design standards. So within the site, everything complies with those standards. So we do need standards. However, like anything else, standards can change. Like we used to do LinkedIn a certain way, just based on directories. But Google changed its algorithm, so the old ways of doing things doesn't work anymore. So we need to find, better ways to, do link building. So you can play a key role in influencing how we do things. Recently, I got an email from one of our staff members, and actually he spoke to me about it, that perhaps we should look at a better video player because, I'm not sure if it's a good idea or not because I am not technical. I haven't looked into it, but we are seriously thinking about it as a team because he mentioned a lot of things that we can do with a better video player and some of the shortcomings of the current one we use. So yes, we have a standard today, but standards can change, and it changes because our people speak up, our people have better ideas, our people come back with solutions. The last value, offering every Equa staff member the opportunity to do what they love. So Manoshi, why don't you talk about it? This is something I believe in my heart, but I would really like your take on it.
Yes, something which Naren always tells me is that he wants a happy set of staff, and he really wants to offer everybody an opportunity to do what they love. So I know most people join Equa in different positions, but maybe their heart lies in something else. So here at Equa, we would really like to give such people the opportunity to do what they like. But of course, like in every other company, you can't just merely shift from one position to another. So we have a learning center established now, where if you are really serious about making a move or doing something different, then you can come to HR and we would really help you with it, where we will tell you, okay, what sort of training you need to follow in order to get into the role which you really like, right? And then we will give you the training required. So this is something where, but one thing I really want you to understand is that you need to be serious about this, because if you say that you want to change, then yes, we are giving you the opportunity and you please take it, right? So we have a training center established, and Naren will also elaborate a little bit more on this training center. But for different positions, we have different trainings identified, and we want you to follow them and increase your knowledge so that you can get a chance to do what you like. But of course, I must also add that just because you finish these training courses, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can give you an opportunity then and there. What we can do is, if you pass these tests successfully, we will add you to a wait list, and when a vacancy comes up, we will definitely consider you. So I think you should really take this training seriously, and please give it a go. Naren?
Absolutely. So we will touch on this more during our presentation, kind of the different roles, the different training you have to take. That's the page I'm on right now. And also, how you can participate and grow your career. So I absolutely believe people should do what they love, because when you do what you love, you tend to be more productive, you tend to have fun, you tend to be a better person for your family, you tend to be a better person for your team. And when you're doing that, to be honest, you tend to have a bigger impact for the company as well. So it's really important for people to do what they love. If what you're doing right now is what you love, great. I'm not going to mess around with it. Just keep doing it. But if there's something else that's better for you, take that opportunity and grab onto it and go after it. And if things don't work out, we will always try to find you another role. So we don't let people who take risks, suffer because they took a risk. So it's really important for you to take risks, when the opportunity presents itself. I think we covered all the values. Tilini?
Yes, yes, Naren, and now we have Eco Marketing Entrepreneur.MD and Doctor's Choice Awards. Tell me a bit about where we are with each of these businesses and where we are going or heading in the future.
Absolutely. I believe that the best defense is the best offense, right? We don't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. And right now, all of our eggs is in the Equa basket, which is great. However, if you want to build a company for the next 50 years, we need to have a few products or few companies supporting each other and strengthening each other. So we made a strategic choice a year and a half or maybe 15 months ago to go after related businesses to help us strengthen the entire base and the entire company. Let me first talk about Equa, right? So Equa itself, I believe, has a huge potential. How do I see the potential? We only have 200 clients, and definitely we can serve thousands of doctors using our model. Now, we need to get better and better at how we do things from operations. We are pretty good. We can even get better. Marketing, we can get better. So there are a lot of areas we can improve. We can go after different types of clients, not just doctors. We can even go after lawyers. Who knows? Maybe even companies that sell to doctors. So we can expand our market by going after different clients. We can also move up by helping some of our clients who are at the top end. So let's say you are in a big city and you want to grow your business by $1 million. So we can do more for you than we would for an average client, right? So we can also grow by focusing on that top end. So we can also focus on the bottom end. The bottom end we have had not very little success with, but we just started to dabble on. And that's really, let's say $100 product, maybe a product just to review calls or just to, do call tracking. So we can grow by looking downwards in the marketing value chain, by solving smaller problems. We can go after the high end, as well as we can grow in other verticals. Right now, we are very strong in dermatology and dental, but we can be strong in plastic surgery, we can be strong in law, we can be strong in OBGYN. So there's a lot of opportunities for us. So I really think just Equa alone could be 10, 20 times what it is today. So I do think that's good news for all of us because, that means there's more roles, more responsibilities, more ways to grow and have an impact. Now, this might take a while. It might take 4 or 5 years, but I do believe, the sky is, very bright for us because, internet marketing has become the central way to market a business, especially the kind of businesses we are helping. Now, when it comes to Entrepreneur.MD, to be very frank, it didn't really succeed. It's not anybody's fault, really. I take the responsibility as the leader. But it did teach us a lot about how to build a company. Because I think Equa was our very first time, so we never really understood, how to build a company from scratch. And also, Equa is a services business, so obviously it was kind of simple. You provide a good service to their friends, and that's how you grow your business. Here we are trying to do something different. So I think we learned a lot about what not to do in the EMD phase. So EMD kind of has shrunk. We only have like 4 people right now focused on Entrepreneur.MD. And the vision with Entrepreneur.MD is to help doctors become better business people by providing them information and tools. I think where we went wrong is we built too big of a team, and we didn't focus on a simple problem to solve. We were kind of too broad. We didn't focus on a single goal. We had too many goals. So we made a lot of mistakes, and hopefully we are learning from them. One of the side things that came out of it is called Doctor's Choice Awards. Right now it has around 4 or 5 people working on it, and I feel really optimistic about it. It's really simple. The idea is that right now there are so many sites where consumers can review doctors, from Google to City Search, Yelp, to Dr. Google, right? Some are only medical specific like Dr. Google or RateMD, but there are many others that are broad. And many of them are free, and they all make money through ads, and few of them charge money like Demand Force. So people kind of, especially doctors, they feel like they are between a rock and a hard place because any day some consumer can come and say something nasty, and sometimes it's valid, and many times it could be a competition or a disgruntled employee. So we wanted to give them an alternative, and we thought, why not create a site that allows doctors to rate other doctors? Now again, this is the second version of it. The first version, slightly different idea, it didn't go anywhere, so we pivoted, we changed our idea. So Doctor's Choice Awards is about doctors reviewing doctors. Um, it's only like 6 weeks or 7 weeks old. So I think the first week we got 2 doctors to sign up. I mean, no doctors to sign up. The next week we got 2. What I mean by sign up is a doctor has to get at least one review from a friend, meaning another doctor that he or she knows, right? That's a metric. So remember, I said one of the lessons we learned is have a single metric to focus on. So second week we got 2 doctors to do that, and then slowly but surely it's growing week after week. And I think last week, week number 6, we got 12 doctors to do that. So just by focusing on that single metric and having a really small team that's focused on learning as to what works and what doesn't, and how do we improve based on what happened yesterday, we believe we can keep growing that business. Why is this important? Because we want a base. We want a business where there are thousands of doctors who are our clients. Even if they're paying very little money, in this case, it will be around $88 a year, which is, compared to Equa, it's 1/100th of what an Equa client pays. We feel by having a broad base, that allows us the opportunity to build relationship with thousands of people, thousands of doctors, which then could help strengthen Equa itself at the top of this. And also, it's a different business that helps us diversify. It also helps us develop different skill sets. Right now, we really understand services, but we don't understand product businesses. So it's a great, little product, and who knows? In 5 years, it could be very large for us. Hopefully, with tens of thousands of doctors. But right now, we only have 32. So, like with Equa, we dream big. So let's see where it goes. So what do we get out of Entrepreneur.MD? Yes, we don't have a single big success other than Doctor's Choice Award, which was just an offshoot of Entrepreneur.MD. However, we learned a ton, and what I believe is that we learned a lot about things that seem to resonate with doctors and things that don't. So hopefully we'll take some of those lessons and make it each of them or some of them into standalone products and really try to make each standalone product work. These teams will be very small, to start off with 2 people and then maybe going to 4 or so, because I think that would really help us focus. So my long-term vision is we would be a related group of products or businesses that support each other. Now, Busy Moms, we haven't really focused on it since 2008, 2009, once we started on Equa. Even now, we are not focusing on it, but we are still keeping it alive. And the reason is, moms are very large part of the population, and Busy Moms has that brand name. So, so that's sitting there. We are not doing anything with it. So I think I've covered the different businesses we have and where we are today and where we are going.
Okay. And before we go any further, I must remind our staff that you can ask any questions from Naren. So if you do have any questions, please do type in your questions on the question and answer section, and Naren will answer these after the program, or if he cannot get at the program, he will definitely send you an email. So moving on, Naren and Manoshi, now we do have clubs in the company, and if Manoshi can explain about these clubs to us a little bit more?
Yes, Tilini. Actually, currently we have 5 clubs in operation, and one of the main reasons why we thought of formulating these clubs is because we all work from home and we rarely meet each other, and sometimes when we talk, we only talk about work-related stuff. So I thought, why not get everybody together where they have common interests, and we can really talk about it, maybe meet up and do some company events, and therefore sort of making and building new relationships. So based on that, I spoke to Naren, and Naren was all for it, and he also supported me in order to formulate these clubs. So currently we have 5 clubs, Tilini. We have the food club, then we have the community service club, we have the book club, we have the movies club, and we have the books, movies. We have another club which
You're Helping Hands and Travel Club, right?
oh yes, the travel club. So sorry about that. It just slipped my mind. So yeah, we have 5 clubs currently, and yes, we did a few events, right? And we have a few staff joining these clubs, and we actually promote this to all the new staff who join us. On the first day itself, we tell them about the clubs and what sort of things they can join, and if they're interested, how to proceed further. Right, so I must really tell that even Naren is part of these clubs. So I wish you all would be more encouraged to join these things, because we are working from home. We rarely see each other, and apart from other company events, this is the only chance we meet. So if you could all maybe, I know that there is a interest. I mean, there's a club which interests somebody. At least one of the clubs join. I'm not saying that you need to join all the clubs. I am a part of all the clubs, but you could maybe join one club, see how it goes, because we also want you to be committed. If you join a club, please do commit to it, and take part in the events. And Naren's also part of the club. So Naren, what's your experience with the club so far?
Yeah, I mean, see, I think we spend enough time working, right? 8 hours a day. So it's a good way to really have some fun, do something you're passionate about. For some people, it could be food. Some people, it could be, traveling. So whatever it is, you know, you are passionate about, do it with others, because that's where we get the most joy. And so I obviously I'm not in Sri Lanka, so I'm not able to come to many of these events. However, I do try to participate online, especially for things that I'm interested in, like movies and books. So I do think you should do this. I mean, it will be a lot of fun. You'll meet some people, and you will because at the end of the day, like Manoshi alluded to at the beginning, our business is about people. Every business is about people, right? So, and it's people working with other people. That's the glue. That's the heart of any business. So I really think, even though it sounds so counterintuitive that we are telling people to join clubs and have fun, but really, when people are working with each other and having fun, that's when great things happen. So I really believe it's not only good for individuals, but it's also good for everybody. So absolutely, I'm 100% behind clubs, and I do think it's a great way to because not everybody's going to like one thing. So it's where you have a choice. You can do different things. Like another club that I think is doing a great job is the Helping Hands, which is the community service club, because a lot of times when you go and help out children or other people who have it much worse than you, it really gives you a sense of appreciation for life, and where you are. So instead of being a person who complains, you will start being a person who appreciates what you have, and when you do that, you tend to get more things in your life that are good for you. So it changes your perspective. I remember taking my daughters to a food bank, and even in Canada, there are a lot of people who can't afford food. I mean, it's all over the world. It's not just in some countries or the others, right? So it really teaches them the value of value of the basics. How, if you don't have the basics, how you would feel. So I really think it's really, really important for you to participate in the clubs that you are passionate about. So thank you, Manoshi, for doing such a great job, and I get a lot of feedback from people about the clubs.
Yes. So yes, go on, Manoshi. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Tilni.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to inform all the staff members. Of course, if you want to know more about it, you can always send a message to HR or I am Manoshi, and then get to know more about these clubs, and interact with them, and um, join them basically. So of course we also have I think we have a program for exercise and eating healthy, Manoshi, in the company. So if you could tell us more about it, because I know even Naren is in it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, Tilni, actually, it's one of Naren's brainchild, I think. Naren, why don't you go ahead?
Yeah, so I mean, I made the mistake, and I hope other people don't. I think we think that we are like children, right? So we think we can eat anything we want, we can do anything we want, and your health will be perfect. Unfortunately, that's not the case. So once you get past 25 and you're getting into 30, and especially between 25 to 40 years old, if you continue your bad habits, eating late, eating a lot of carbs, not being very active, you will start gaining weight. It will start creating other health issues. I mean, cholesterol and diabetes and all kinds of stuff. And I'm one of those people who have been affected by it. So I understand how important it is to change your lifestyle early on. The good and the bad of working from home is, you don't have to get out of the house unless you make a decision to get out of the house. You don't have to, be active unless you make a decision to be active, right? You don't have to eat healthy unless you make a decision to, eat healthy. So I have some personal experiences. So I really want all of us to be healthy, because if you are healthy, your families are going to be healthy. So, at the end of the day, we work hard to have a better life, right? And health is at the heart of it. So it's not hard. It just takes a bit of discipline and support from each other. So we decided to kind of, create a small pilot program with a few people around healthy eating and activities, right? And the reason we chose to do this, some people are more comfortable with activities, other people are more comfortable with, healthy eating. So I'm in both clubs, and I have always had this yo-yo diet. I'm kind of overweight, and so I have struggled with it. So I'm really, really trying to, make a change, and for my sake and my family's sake, and everybody else's sake. So so what do we do? So in the healthy eating club, I kind of mark down what do I eat every day, because it forces me to think about what I'm eating, and when I'm not eating something that's healthy. We don't tell people how to eat, because there are lots of ideas. In my case, I try not to eat late. I try to watch my carbs, and I try to watch my portion size, right? So that's really my definition of healthy eating. Um, and in terms of activities, in my case, I like to walk. So I try to walk every day. So if I don't walk, at least I try to do some exercise. Now, I don't do it every day. In some weeks, I do it only 2 times. And I'm really trying to get the discipline to do it more often, almost every day. So by writing it down and sharing it with the team, it forces me to be, accountable, be responsible. I've lost around 10 pounds, I guess, in the last, month or so, and I'm going to continue. And I think one of the mistakes I think I made is I look at weight as a number, and when I don't lose it or lose as fast as I can, I tend to get discouraged, and then I put everything back on, and that's, I guess, the heart of the yo-yo diet. So I'm starting to look at this like going to university, right? And if you go to university, or any kind of a diploma program, you have to do 2 years and you have to finish all the courses. So I'm going to say, okay, what's my end be? So if my ideal weight is so and so, and right now I'm this weight. So let's say that is, I don't know, in my case, a lot of pounds. Let's say 50 pounds I need to lose. I could say 100% is, my once I get to that 50-pound goal, right? So, every time I lose a pound, hey, I'm 2% through the course. So I'm going to try to look at a different paradigm. I'm not sure if it's going to help, but I'm going to try it, because this way I'm not going to, even if I'm at 30% going to 20%, meaning I put on 5 more pounds, I won't feel discouraged. It's like a course, sometimes you forget your material, you go back and, look at it again, and then you bring it back on. So I want to kind of set that goal and then try to get to 80% or 70%, and then eventually get to 100, right? And then that's going to motivate me, because I think many of us are goal driven. So I'm thinking this kind of a mindset might give us something different, as opposed to just looking at the weight. Look at your goals. So are you at what percentage are you? And then set some goals. Okay, in the next 4 months, I want to make a 10% gain. So that's kind of something personal from me trying it. And I think Manoshi has some interesting ideas. Like, for example, she's creating, clubs so people can compete with each other, and again, it's all private, so nobody knows my weight or vice versa. It's just that as a group, how did we do? Did we do better than the other group? So a bit of competition, a bit of rivalry, and just some friendly fun. So I mean, my advice to every single person, including myself, is take your health seriously when you're young. You know, trying to take it seriously when you're old kind of won't work. So take it seriously. We are blessed to be able to work from home and not have to drive to work and deal with all that stress. So use that extra time you have to take care of yourself. to take care of your families, be healthy, pay attention to yourself, and spend some time, with each other, like I try to spend more time with my families because I don't have a lot of, driving and traveling and traffic and stress and whatnot. So, even if it's half an hour a day, just some extra time playing with your kids, if you have kids, whatever it is, it makes it makes a difference.
Okay, so we have a training center, and could we explain more on this training, Naren?
Absolutely. So, because everybody's seeing my screen, right now I'm on the screen that talks about the different roles in eco operations. The reason we're focusing on eco operations is more than 105 or 110 people work in eco operations. So, it's a pretty large team with lots of different types of roles. So, each role, like for example, in the client services team, there are 3 roles: client coordinator, marketing coach, and team manager. Now, if you are doing any one of these 3 roles, here are 3 courses you need to take, right? And let's say you want to come into any one of these 3 roles, you could also take these courses. So there's a training center here, and you will get an account and you can work with HR on it, and you can log in and take your training. Now, let's say you want to move to a different role. First thing you should do is take those training and pass it, meaning there's a small test at the end. And then, like Manoj said, you will be on the waiting list. We always give preference to our internal candidates more than outside candidates. So anytime there's an opening, you are the first one to be considered. And if you are currently in a role and you haven't taken a training, I would also encourage you to take that training. Why? We are in a space that changes a lot, internet marketing space. So you need to always keep your skills updated, right? Because it's good for you as a person, and it's good for the team. So because you won't make mistakes, you will understand things better and so forth. I want to have Manoj add a few thoughts, Manoj, because you are managing it on a day-to-day basis.
Naren, you will have to go on because I think we have lost Manoj. If you
Right,
can go on, Manoj. Yeah, Naren.
she got disconnected. Okay, got
Yes.
it. She will join back in a minute.
Yes.
Yeah. In terms of I think Manoshi and the HR team is talking to every single staff member and creating their own individualized training plan, and then working with them to help them accomplish their goals. And I think that's a good thing. So, if you haven't already done this with Manoshi, do spend the time to discuss and develop your own training plan. And I think it would really, really make a difference for you. I think that's all I have on training.
Okay. So any final thoughts, Naren, if you would like to take any before we leave?
Absolutely. So before we get to questions, I can definitely share my final thoughts. I think life is a blessing, and the fact that we are alive, and the fact that we are here, and the fact that we do what we do, I think is a blessing. So I think we should, we should appreciate every moment. We should, care for each other, and kind of go back to our values and our philosophy. Philosophy is excellence. So, serving our clients, serving each other, excellence, trying to do better tomorrow than we did yesterday. And our values, this is something we are really, taking seriously, is stick-to-itness, the desire to learn, commitment, and the desire to change and drive change, dedication to service, willingness to do the right thing. We call it brutal honesty, and respect and support for each other, taking ownership of what you are doing and caring about why we do it, commitment to standard ways of doing things and improving our standards, offering every single person in this company the opportunity to do what they love. So these are what we stand for. These are what we believe in. I do believe that our path is, bright. Our future is bright as long as, we keep remembering these values, and we keep remembering our core of our commitment to service and excellence. We'll keep dreaming. We'll keep coming up with new things. We'll keep growing our horizons. My vision is people can work from anywhere in the world have a flexible schedule, do something we love, and make a big difference. And I think we have come a long way in the last, I guess 9, 10 years, and I do think we're going to go a lot further. I think we'll be a 50-year company, and I think, or even a 100-year company, and I think we will be one of the first meaningful work-at-home businesses in the world that made a difference and taught people that there's a different way to work, not just go to office and um, sit in a cubicle. So I'm very proud of what we're doing, and I'm very proud of our team. And thank you very much, everyone, for all your hard work. Anytime you have anything, anything you want from me, just email me, right? Narayan@electra.com. Or you could even IM me, all of you on my IM list. I believe in this open communication. You can do the same thing with your managers. Have a good idea, think something you're doing is not working, speak up, you know. And we encourage that behavior. And so, I don't believe in politics. That's why I got fired 4 times in a row because I just couldn't play politics. So, I'm totally against politics. I want people to speak up. I want ideas to take the center stage more than anything else. So, have your ideas, speak up, use your brains, think, ask the questions, as to what we are doing wrong, what can we do better, and share with each other and learn. Because I think if we keep learning and growing, we'll be fine.
Okay, so of course, Naren, I must tell you that we don't have any questions at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, you can email me any questions. I guess not everybody can come up with questions on the fly. So, yeah, do you want to give it a couple of more minutes and then we can wrap
Yes,
it up if we don't have any
yes.
questions?
We'll give it a few more minutes. And if you do have any questions, please do put them on the question and answer section, and I'll be able to present them to Naren. So we'll give it about 2 minutes more. And if you do have any questions, please type in and send them to me.
Naren, while we are waiting for the staff to input any questions they have, I want to just emphasize on one thing that, we organize these events and whatnot so that, it will benefit the staff, where we can meet each other. So I hope that everyone would take the opportunity and, really participate in these events, Naren. I hope if you can emphasize on that also, it would be really good.
Absolutely. I mean, the events are there to, help the staff have fun and get to know each other, right? So absolutely take advantage of the opportunities. Because, it is a people, it's about people. So if you, I mean, so I do think it's really, really important and valuable for you to, get to know people on a personal level as well as on a professional level. And I bet you will have ton of fun. I've seen so many pictures and so many things people do. So I can see that they are enjoying themselves, every minute of it. So so I do encourage that. So especially the events, especially the clubs, join the clubs, and also the healthy eating. I think we'll be rolling out to the entire company, and working out. I guess we call it activities. So join those clubs.
Yes,
Participate.
now, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, we do have a question here from Asanka Pereira, and he is asking Naren, I would like you to, just a minute, I'm so sorry. Yeah, Naren, I would like to ask you about the issue and the challenges you faced at your very early stages when you were building the company, and how did you overcome these issues, and how did you build up your confidence when you went down again and again?
That's an excellent question because, yeah, we failed again and again and again for 5 years. And to be honest, my wife was supporting me because, she had a job, so that kind of paid our bills. So I was just, trying everything under the sun, trying to figure things out. Um, So what were the issues and challenges we faced, and how did we overcome those issues, and how did you build your confidence when you went down again and again? I think for me the turning point was, like I kind of mentioned earlier, is that deciding not to focus on my goals, but rather to focus on, um, okay, there are three things I think that are essential for the success of a business. One is you need to have, you need to believe in something, right? Right? You need to believe in something that's going to make a difference. Second is, I think you have to be able to make money at it, because if you can't make money at it, you can't pay the bills and you can't be a successful business. And the third, I think, is you have to be passionate about it, something that you really enjoy. Because if you hate what you're trying to do, it's not going to go anywhere, right? So those, I think, are the essence of, when those three mix, you create a successful business. I mean, I'm sure you've heard of the stats, right? 95% of the businesses fail within the first 5 years. So it's not easy, right? If it was easy, 95% of the businesses will not fail in the first 5 years. In the technology space, I think people would argue it's even worse, like, probably 98% fail. So I think failure is part of the game, if you're, and it's just what it is. So for every success story, there are 100 stories that we never talk about or hear about. And so I think you have to accept that, right? If you're afraid of failure and stuff, I think we wouldn't have done this. So I mean, I'm one of those people, like, the more we got knocked down, the more I was determined to make it work. I think, looking back, like I was saying before, it's really, once we realized it's not about us, it's about us making a difference for our clients and really understanding what that essence is. In our case, it's really that we can use internet marketing to help people grow their businesses, and then zooming in on it, focusing on it, with focus. I do think that made a difference. The other thing that I think is interesting is, for a business to succeed, you need people who are working on the business as well as in it. Let me explain the difference. In it meaning you are doing day-to-day work for a particular client, right? You are, whether it's link building or client services or web QA or webmaster, whatever the role is. Now that's important, but you can't grow your business just working in things. So we need some people, typically leaders, to work on the business. So they are the ones who are really trying to ask the question: can we do better? Can we take things to the next level? How can we improve our processes? Can we build a software to make it easy for us? So always asking the question of how do we improve how we do things, right? So I think some of our key leaders, the reason we are here today is because they have, over the last 4 or 5 years, mastered how to work on the business. And I think that's really, really, really important. We have to always work on the business as well as in the business. So I do believe that you need those things, and then you need to have a vision, and I think our vision is the idea that we can marry working from home to building a world-class company. It happens to be in internet marketing, but it could have been in any other space. So as long as everything we do kind of comes back to that, working from home and being the best in the world at what we do, that's something that I'm very passionate about, because that's an idea that I want to prove other people that it can be done. So it's something that's very personal to me, and being a father of 2 daughters, it really is meaningful to me, right? I can see them when they wake up, and I can see them when they go to sleep, and my daughters think I just sit and play with the computer. They don't, because they see me all the time. So they, like most of their friends' dads, they never see them, right? They are gone in the morning and they come back at night, and the kids are asleep by then, right? So it's fun and it's exciting, and I think it's a blessing. So I think we need to kind of remember that every minute and be appreciative of what we have, and then make the most out of it. So I hope I answered the question in a long-winded way.
Okay, so we have a second question as well, and this question is from Anita Lloyd. She wants to know what we have planned to achieve as a company by 2015, client base wise and employee wise.
Yeah, To be honest, I don't have a clear plan for 2000 end of 2015 yet. Now I can tell you, in a 5-year time horizon, we want to at least have 1,000 clients. I mean, right now our ratio in the ops team versus clients is 2:1, meaning for every two clients we have one staff member in the ops team. We want to also reduce that ratio maybe to 1:3 if possible, or maybe even slightly less than that. Now, like I told you before, I'm not a big fan of plans like that, because I feel like sometimes for the sake of the plan, we miss the point of what's important. And to us, it's being better and better every day in terms of helping our clients make more money from internet marketing, right? So where we stop doing the things that's not working for us and do more of the things that do work for us. Um, so I'm not a big fan of very concrete plans. However, we will look back and say, are we better off today and than we were 6 months ago and a year ago? And I do think it's going to come from the leadership team, and it's going to come from everybody stepping up and getting aligned to goals. One of the things that we have started working with, I think it's working really wonderfully, and I've only done this with a few people so far. Manoshi is one of them. So clearly defining her sets of priorities and goals. And we have a weekly conversation around those priorities and goals. And then Manoshi, in turn, has a similar weekly conversation about the priorities and goals for each of her team members. So the idea is that goals that start with me go to the head of the department, and then through them to other people in the team. So everybody knows how they are going to contribute to the company's success. And we're going to start doing this more and more and more and more. And hopefully by end of 2015, hopefully every single person would have goals that is aligned to the vision and the goals of the company. I think that's a very powerful tool. I mean, I think a lot of people who have participated in this process feel like they're able to make a lot more difference, because now they're not distracted by all the other things that's not important, and they can focus on the things that are important.
Okay, so we will go with, we do have another question, so we will go with that question, which is from Amina Abu Bakr, and she goes as, hi Naren, thank you for this meeting. It's nice to know you and how the company got to where it is now. Just a question, out of sheer curiosity, why did you buy Busy Moms, and what makes you retain Busy Moms? Are most of our colleagues moms? So there's 3 questions there for you, Naren.
Yes, actually, I think most of the colleagues are women and moms, and obviously, I think working from home resonates with everybody, especially parents, but I do think obviously it resonates more with moms, because, a traditional job, meaning, you want to take your kid to the hospital, or, to the doctor, or to sports practice. Now you have to come back home and, do all kinds of stuff. So I feel like work at home, especially with schedules you can fit with your manager, set up with your manager, gives moms the opportunity to do an excellent job at work, and more importantly, do an excellent job as a mom. So I think moms is at the core of, and especially parents is at the core of, our business, and those who appreciate choice, right? I mean, those who feel like, they don't have to spend 3 hours or 2 hours fighting traffic and just sitting and, dealing with all that. So I do think people who appreciate choice, people who appreciate that ability to, use their time wisely, I think resonate very well with our business. And you're right. I think when we started the business, we started as Busy Moms, so I think we don't forget our heritage. So we still are holding on to it. Now, will we ever make Busy Moms into a really viable, strong, piece of our overall business? I don't know the answer for that. At this time, we are not doing it, just because just in the medical space alone, there's so much for us to do. Like we talked about, Equa itself can grow in other verticals, OBGYN, plastic surgery, law. It can grow in the high end. There are bigger clients who are in bigger cities who are spending a lot of money on marketing. We can help them save some of that money and get more out of marketing. We can grow on the bottom end by providing solutions like call tracking and so forth. and then we can create supporting businesses or supplementary businesses like Doctor's Choice Awards that independently can be successful, but at the same time makes the entire ecosystem strong. So I do think there's so much for us to do, in where we are at today. But I mean, as far as going after the mom space and doing something extra, I'm not sure if you can do that right now. But I do think we need to remember our heritage and our history and where we came from, because if you forget the past, you sometimes tend to not be able to focus on the future. So.
Okay, Naren, we just have one more question, and then we can wrap it up if you give me just a few minutes. It was basically okay. We see clients terminating their contracts with Equa from time to time. Have we as a company identified any common causes for clients terminating their contracts like this? Are there any common reasons for these terminations?
Absolutely. You know, I think in a perfect world, things would be stable, right? But unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world, and that's also the fun, right? Because when there are challenges, we go after and solve them, right? So we've had a lot of challenges and a lot of reasons why clients terminated. Now those challenges get addressed, then new challenges come up. So what are some of the challenges, or what are some of the reasons clients have terminated? In the recent 6 months, one of the reasons why clients terminated is because I think we kind of transitioned, because the world is changing. So a lot of things are personalized. A lot of people don't even have to type in locations when they're doing search. So we started focusing a lot more on that new world without paying attention to specific keywords that are location specific. Like for example, San Diego, dental implants. So some of the clients' rankings dropped because we didn't focus on it on that front, and some clients left. So sometimes when the world changes, we have to make a choice. How do we react to it? In that case, we reacted by saying we're going to ignore those keywords. But once we found out that's not going to work, because clients still do expect themselves to rank for those procedure-specific keywords in their local city, we went back and focused on it. So, in business, you have to make choices, and sometimes your choices help, and sometimes they don't, and you have to correct yourself and come back. So I mean, there are different reasons, right? So, and then we are in a space where, any doctor can go to any meeting and listen to some new guy talk about something new, and get bought into that because they haven't done the research or spend the time to really understand what we do and so forth. So that's a challenge. So one of the things we are trying to do is to educate our clients, because one of the perceptions our clients had and still do have is we do two things. They think we just do articles and banners. So the weekly updates we are sending is starting to talk more and more about all the other things we do. But in a way that's not, oh, we do this and like a parrot repeating it, but rather kind of talking about, oh, by the way, this week we found 5 inconsistencies with your profiles. We fixed them. And the reason we fix them is because we know that helps you SEO, and also it drives more traffic from those 5 sites. Here is the proof of that, right? So really talking about in their terms, making it bring down, as opposed to preaching to them and saying, oh, this is the best practice for SEO, or this is the best practice for NAP, just talking in terms of context, in terms of their situation and how what we're doing, what we have already done to help them, and what more can we do to help them. So really bringing it down to that level, because even a doctor who doesn't understand marketing can understand that we fixed 5NAP, and the reason we fixed it is because it's helping with SEO, and this is how it's helping. Right. So I think that's an example of something we have adopted. Link building, right? I mean, Google changed its algorithm, so the old link building didn't work. So obviously we had to change. So we constantly try to understand how the world is changing, and when it does, we change with it. Otherwise, we can't be the best in the world at internet marketing. So I'm really glad you asked that question. So I mean, as a person, when you see these challenges, when you see these things, talk about it, come up with solutions, right? I mean, it doesn't have to all come from me or the management team. It can come from you, because you are interfacing with clients. You are, dealing with the day-to-day issues.
Yes. Naren, I must tell you that question was from Bhagya Rodrigo, and of course, she has a little bit more onto it, which asks, what can we do better to retain these clients? And she would like to know that as well.
Yeah, I think, I think this educating the clients on why we do what we do, I think is key. Telling that story of, and then I think another thing that we did that really helped is the ROI review and the call tracking, because a lot of clients don't know the difference between what's coming from the internet and what's coming from other places. Now they know, and I think we review their calls every 6 months. So they really understand whether what we're doing is working for them or not, right? So I think slowly but surely, I think educating them, building a relationship with them, having that conversation. So when they walk into this other meeting and hear this other guy speak, they don't jump and say, "Oh, my company sucks." They really have the points to say, "Yeah, these guys are doing this. They are doing that. Yes, my number of call volume went up from 50 to 75." And as you know, sometimes doctors don't read emails, so we can't just rely on sending emails and forgetting about them. We need to build a relationship. We need to talk to these doctors, especially the client coordinators, and have a conversation. But don't position this conversation as, "Oh, let me preach to you about why we are great." It should be about, this is how we can help your business. This is how we are helping your business. This is some of the things we can do in the future. So listen, watch, say what they say, think, come back to, the management team with ideas on how we can improve. So hopefully we can do this not just for your client, but for all clients. And I really think that's really at the heart of this.
Yeah, Manoshi, just a minute. I think Manoshi, you're with us still.
Yes, still, yeah.
Right. Okay, so I have another question. Basically, these questions are being IM to me, most of them. There's one person, I'm not quite sure whether it's a lady or a gent. They want to know whether that they could whether we give gratuity after 5 years of service if they leave.
Uh, yeah, go ahead, Naren.
At this time, I don't think we have a policy like that. So again, that's a short answer.
Okay, fine. So I hope you all got the
But
answers.
I think in Sri Lanka we have the EPF ETF scheme, so I guess that should kick in, right? So I mean, the government should pay you money. I mean, when you do retire from your EPF and ETF funds. But at this time, you're only doing that in Sri Lanka.
Okay, so I I don't have any more questions. So I'd like to wrap it up at the moment because I think we have taken about 1.5 hours of the staff as well. So of course, thank you, Naren, and thank you, Manoshi, for taking the time and for being with us and for doing this presentation and basically, giving us information about the company and information about what we are really doing in the company, our future, and of course, the clubs and the training as well. And of course, I must thank all the staff members. To be very frank, I must mention that I have about 107 staff members who are listening to us at the moment. So thank you very much to all of you for joining and for being with us for these 1.5 hours. And of course, if there is another staff meeting, I'm not quite sure whether there is any future plans for that. We will keep you, I'm sure the HR will keep you informed. So thank you very much, and hope you have a very good night, to be very frank. Okay.
Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate everything you're doing for the company, and I do encourage you to take risks, try new things, learn, speak up, and and grow in the company, and help each other and help yourself. So thank you very much.
Thank you, and bye-bye.
Thank you, Naren. Bye.